Okay, it's been a long time since I've made a video on actually building model cars, and figured since I've got my mess cleaned up, got time to kill today, I will do one. Some people are going to call me very sacrilegious right now because I'm building my usual demolition derby cars. Of course, my car choice for doing that is the Dukes of Hazzard car. That one. I got to be careful. My camera's upside down, and I have open flame going here, and you'll know why here in a bit. My second favorite car to do now is this Caprice. My webcam is hanging from my work light, so you're looking down at my work surface here. I had to do kind of an emergency build, another derby car. This was the only kit I had. Wasn't ideal, but so far it's been a lot of fun. Real quick housekeeping things. I've got the cockpit done for it, which very basic, turned out very well, I think. Like I said, I've got an open flame here, so I've got to be careful I don't burn my hand. It's getting a little hot. And then going with a newer style steel rim. That's the wheels we're going with. But I've had people ask me how, it's a car I did a few years ago, Ghostbusters car. Very simple, basic build before I even knew what scratch building was. The most custom thing on this car, of course, is the front seat. I know. People have asked me, though, let me grab something I can point with here. How do I get my weld lines to look like my doors are welded? It's another car I built for my daughter a few years ago. It's the Lincoln Continental kit. The same way you can see the weld marks here and here, and not very well on the back. But how do I get to do these? Or how do I get? I can speak English this morning. How do I make those? Well, this is what I do. I've already started on this body here. So we can get it in the light a little bit better. Get a little more light, a little more camera on it. Hard to see if it's like that. Let's do a little bit of movie magic here. Take the Sharpie. And I'll just draw the line right over the Sharpie with that. And that kind of just made that pop a little bit better to where you can see what I'm working on. With the same line marks there. What I do, kind of dangerous in the house, but I have my little torch. You can see the fire coming out of it. I have an old Stanley pocket knife. All I do is heat the tip. Hotter you get the knife, the longer you can work with it. And as you can see, I've used this one quite a bit. Of course, the best way to heat anything is keep what you're heating right on the tip of the flame. Give it some light here, see if I can. There you go. Maybe that little extra lighting was too much. It's going to be a little bit harder for me to see the work, but you'll be able to see everything work better. As you can see there, the knife tip is going red. Set it out of the way. Make sure it's away from everything, and then what I do is just come along here and follow my body line and just kind of work that hot knife in at an angle. And once it's painted, it really does give the illusion of a fully welded seam. And you don't have to be straight on. As many of these cars as I've welded up, They've never been straight and pretty, so why make them straight and pretty on the model? You're wanting it to be more authentic looking than anything. This does take a lot of time. You get about a ½ an inch per heating. And we're going to go ahead and turn that off as I come around. When you're doing this, also think about how you would weld your seam and keep it going in the same direction. You know, I could sit here and go all the way across, but if you think about it, for you guys who actually work on cars, you'll know you only lay halfway across, and then you'll want to come back and go the other way. All the way down around your trunk, because I'm doing this as a full weld body back in the old days before they limited seam welding. Do the same thing around the doors. Now, I was going to make this a 4-door, but for sake of time, I need to get this done and get it in the mail, so we're going to just keep it as a 2-door coupe, or 2-door post. But that's how you do those weld seams. One other thing here, pull this out as I knock everything over. I will show you the motor I got built for this. The motor itself is out of a 65 Chevy pickup kit. I'm using it because I have it done, and if you guys remember, that kit kind of bit the dust a year ago. So all is not lost. I'll give me a second here. And I had some tape securing it to a frame I made. Put that there. I'll pull the cam down so you can see the motor. I'll pull it back so it's a little more focus. Zoomy headers on it. And the headers are actually made out of, let's see if that'll focus in, 1/16 aluminum tubing. A little bit of trial and error to get them built, but they're actually a hollow tube, which is something I've never done. I've used solid tube. We've gone with the solder. I've tried using copper wire out of Romex. I've used a plethora of things. Let me set my camera down here and I'll show you the tubing. I get it from just my local hardware store. And the one thing I've noticed is you just trial and error finding stuff. You can get all kinds of neat stuff. That's some stock there. But what I actually used was this stuff here. If we can get her to focus, maybe pull her back a little bit. The smallest of that tubing right there. And wants to go focus far away. But it's about 1 foot long. It's not cheap. It's about $1 a foot. And if you think for aluminum tubing, that is just not cheap. But it works so nice. You have to be very careful with it, bending it, or you're going to crimp it. But I've got 2 different sizes there. This is 1/16 OD, the smallest. The next size up, I don't know what the OD is on it, but the inside diameter on it is 1/16. And then I have some larger ones I tried making headers out of, but it just didn't look right on the car. They look too big. You know, scale is everything on these cars, but sometimes, you know, it's hard to figure out. Here's a piece of solid copper wire, aluminum, or the copper Romex. It bends real nice, but it's heavy. Really weights your motor down. And then I've also got some brass pieces in there. trying to figure out how to do that other project I have, that road hog I've been working on. Maybe after I get all these derby cars done I've got started, we'll revisit that headache. Little shot of my work area here. Just a small table sitting in the middle of my living room, which everything else is pulled out. I take over part of the couch and I sit here in my office chair, working in it, watching a little James Bond on the TV. This table here is an old dot matrix printer table. I got at a place I used to work. They were just going to throw it away. So I've repurposed it for that. It's got some shelves for down below for putting stuff, and when I work I just kind of take over my little area here, and when I'm done I pack it all up and I can roll it into a corner of the house, not have to worry about it anymore. Got all my clamps and whatnot there. Got a large assortment of drawers, small drawers, and then we look over here out in my storage area. You'll see some more shelves and whatnot behind my fan. Keep a fan around well ventilated area. And this is where I sit and model all day long, in between doing laundry. Anyway, thought I'd throw this little video up. I want to give it a shout out to Atomic Dog on your wing hijinks. I know exactly how you feel, man. I was scratch building some wheels here. These little derby wheels. And you can take a look here, and two of these wheels are not like the other. It's called getting in a rush and getting way too much glue on it before you can do anything. So accidents happen. We all make mistakes, but that's kind of the fun of the building of the projects, is moving on and learning and progressing from a piece of wire to actual pipes. Anyway, this is Timmy signing off. Happy modeling, and hopefully it won't be 8 months before I put a new video up.